Welcome to the News Ferret with me, Dick Scoop.
And me, Lainey Lideswell.
The UK government has unveiled a significant overhaul of its defence strategy, marking the most substantial military investment since the Cold War. This will aim to push our defence budget to 3% of GDP by 2034. Honestly, the sooner the better. With all the weirdos in charge of some of the countries and Trump in charge of America, you never know what's going to happen in a time of trouble. And we need to start being able to look after ourselves. 3%, in my puppet opinion, is still too low. We were spending 4.5% in Maggie's time, and surely the world was safer then. Putin in Russia pretending they're still a world power, the Chinese up to no good behind that big wall, Iran causing all kind of capers in the Middle East, and North Korea with Kim Yogurt. What a bunch of scallywags. Again, Labour doing something I approve of, but setting a target of 2034 when there is no way in hell they're going to still be in power just seems pointless and a pipe dream. Let's be serious about this. The UK's armed forces are the smallest size now since the Napoleonic Wars, and although I'm a firm believer that size is not what matters, in this case it is a little worrying. We've gone from saving the world and being a force to be reckoned with to now not even be able to fend off the French. The Germans are about to kick off again at some point, and we need to be ready.
So Labour doing good. Whatever next, Dick?
The Organisation for Economic Cooperation and Development has revised its UK economic growth forecasts, projecting a slowdown of 1.3% in 2025, and further to 1% in 2026. This adjustment reflects concerns over global trade tensions, particularly stemming from the recent US tariff policies, as well as domestic challenges like high inflation and limited fiscal flexibility. This means we will have a high cost of living. Elevated inflation continues to erode purchasing power, with essentials like energy and food remaining expensive. The biggest driver for inflation being energy prices. And these guys are just too slow at combating this. Planning regulations are slowing wind and solar production. Nuclear plants take 15 years to build, and our power grid simply isn't up to it anymore. All things the government can fix, if the will is there and they weren't so soft. Public services, another problem, with fiscal constraints that may lead to tighter budgets for public services, potentially impacting healthcare, education and local government services. Our second biggest cost as a nation is interest on our debt, at £110 billion per year. In order to reduce this, we need to grow the economy, or have higher taxes, which is not politically a good idea, and they are not brave enough to act on this. These problems can be fixed, but not with an ineffective government that is too scared to make real changes. They don't want to upset the voters, and they can't explain the need to change effectively before the next election. Basically, whilst these chuckleheads are in power, we are all screwed.
Well, Mr. Brightside, what else is happening?
Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu is visiting North Korea for discussions with Kim Yogurt, signalling deepening ties between the two nations amid global geopolitical tension. A true sign of desperation on Russia's behalf, from a mighty, ferocious bear that everyone in the world was scared of, to an isolated, spent force relying on a prize nutter to supply you with dodgy old gear known to misfire and jam. What a downfall. Russia's global reputation must now be in tatters. The Billy No-Mates of the world teamed up with that weird kid we all thought would grow up to be a serial killer. It's not a good look for Russia. It is, however, great for North Korea, who now feel they have a place on the world stage, and all those tantrums they threw have been worth it. Putin treating Kim as an equal is everything he's always wanted, and may encourage the rest of the undesirables to also get further in bed with North Korea. Putin has given Kim a booster seat and told him he can now sit at the big boys' table. The myth that Russia is winning the war in the Ukraine must be firmly put to bed. A few episodes ago, I said Keir Starmer was doing a good thing in raising the defence budget.
A few episodes ago, it was about 5 minutes, Dick.
For fuck's sake, Lainey, the audience doesn't need to know these are just stitched together from shorts. You'll ruin the illusion, you insufferable tart. Anyway, back to the story. And I have to admit, I was lured into thinking it was his idea. I was wrong. As it turns out, he's only doing this to keep Big Donny T on side. And honestly, that makes a lot more sense than him actually doing something good for the UK. It makes much more sense he's been bullied into doing something rather than doing it of his own volition. Suddenly, the world makes sense again. I am torn here, though, as I believe it will be good for the UK, but doing it because we are getting bullied just doesn't feel right. Anyway, we are where we are, and Donny T bullying Starmer into things is just what we'll have to live with, I guess. He really could do with bullying the other NATO members as well. But honestly, I don't really like the thought of Germany building up their army. Historically, that has led to shenanigans. Over to you, Lainey.
And in other news, a woman in the UK has made headlines after fully embracing life as a house cat, proving once and for all that the internet is contagious. The woman, who now prefers to be called Whiskers McMeowface, has officially identified as feline, trading in her 9-to-5 job for 9 lives and a full-time commitment to sleeping in sunbeams. According to her neighbours, she has been seen chasing birds, knocking glasses off counters and yelling at Amazon delivery drivers. Despite initial concerns, the local council has been supportive, though they have issued her a warning after she tried to use a litter tray behind the library.
Is that even news? Why do we even bother? The love affair between Donny T and Elon has finally come to an abrupt end. What only a few weeks ago appeared to be a Romeo and Juliet style love affair set to last the ages has now turned into a terrible divorce, and we are now left wondering who will get the kids. Musk fired first, stating that Donny T was a disgusting abomination. Sorry. No, that's not right. He said Donny's One Big Beautiful Bill Act was a disgusting abomination. You can see where I got easily confused. In response, Donny said, well, if that's the case, you can't play with my toys anymore, and shit quickly escalated to where Elon basically accused Donny of being a very naughty boy who got up to some crazy stuff with Epstein. Stopping short of accusing the president of anything illegal, he made it fairly clear that that was the implication. Some crazy stuff in the crazy world of the richest people on the planet. Will they kiss and make up? It's difficult to see a way back for them, even for the sake of the kid. And now Lainey with some more fluff.
And in other news, in an unexpected turn of events, a wild elephant decided to indulge in some retail therapy, causing quite a commotion in a Thai grocery store. Residents were taken aback when a 30-year-old elephant strolled into a local convenience store. With a calm demeanour, he navigated the aisles, selecting 9 bags of sweet rice crackers, a sandwich, and some oh, for fuck's sake.
Have the drugs kicked in?
Shut up, Dick. Residents were taken aback when a 30-year-old elephant strolled into a local convenience store. With a calm demeanour, he navigated the aisles, selecting 9 bags of sweet rice crackers, a sandwich, and some dried bananas. The store owner attempted to deter the hefty shopper, but the elephant remained undeterred, leaving behind muddy footprints and a slightly damaged ceiling. The elephant is known in the area for his snack-seeking adventures, previously entering homes in search of food. For now, he has returned to the wild, perhaps contemplating his next shopping spree. This is Lainey Lisewell for the News Ferret.
And that was the news roundup. Good night.
Good night.
Time for a pint. Best catch up with Lainey.
Fuck you.